people are bottom guys, some people are top guys. It's kind of hard to get the perfect bottom and the perfect top on the same pizza in one of these. So let that be your challenge, not your discouragement. Pizza time, you heat up some of that sauce, grab some ranch, and just start throwing slices inside of that air fryer. What's up everybody, Jason from JTV Life. I know it's been a minute, but just got back from the grocery store, about to whip up some pizzas. And man, even in this economy, we can still make some $5 pizzas. Even shopping at a pretty expensive place down here in Florida, Publix, where shopping used to be a pleasure, but now it looks like half the employees haven't even fronted and faced their teeth this morning. If you're new to the wood pellet pizza oven game, well, you came to the right place, because I'm the main. I'm gonna take you through a little pizza making journey, kind of do it from front to back. If this is your first time you're looking into getting into this, I'm not gonna lie, it takes a lot of time. But you know what? If y'all want those interest rates to go down, you need to get unemployed and do it quick. Which means you're gonna have a lot of time, so take on a COVID-like hobby like pizza. Let's do a quick rundown of the stuff you're gonna need. You're gonna need some cheese. I actually got this BOGO style. A lot of people ask what kind of cheese to use. You know what, dude, it's your pizza, use whatever you want. You can go traditional, use the fresh mozzarella, might end up a little bit more watery. If you're starting off, I definitely say use this. Don't use the fine shredded stuff, definitely get a whole milk mozzarella. This is Tillamook's, they call them farmhouse slices, so they're a little bit thicker, so they're gonna take a little bit more to melt in that oven and not burn up. I know a lot of people, they reach out in the comments saying that their cheese burns. Also, you can freeze this, put it on top of the pizza frozen. So boom, pro tip, didn't even gotta watch the whole video, but you could hit that like button. Next, we got our flour. This is double O. This was $8 for the bag. 3 pounds of flour, which works out to, I'd say almost like 3,000 grams, which would end up making you about 12 pizzas. So $8, 12 pizzas worth of dough. And of course some flour, or excuse me, some yeast. I use the Fletchman's pizza crust yeast. You can use whatever you like. You can save by buying the bigger containers, but then it doesn't quite stay as fresh, and you really don't need to use a lot, guys. Use too much yeast, your dough's not gonna have kind of the flavor or texture that it needs. And that's only like $1 to buy that envelope, so low barrier to entry. For our sauce, we're gonna be using some peeled tomatoes. I got these things BOGO, and they're only $2.99 a can, so thank you very much for that, Mr. Publix. And that's it. Got to do a little bit of pizza math, which I'm going to do real quick so I can figure out my recipes. And I'm going to make it a separate video so that way you can use it as a reference guide and we don't slow this video down for the other people. Let's go ahead and get to making that dough. Pizza math is all settled up, so we can go ahead and get this batch going. For this dough, I'm going to try and kind of make it easy, but mix in some of the better elements that have kind of given good results in the past. So we're going to start off by making a little 50-50 poolish. What's that mean? It doesn't even matter. I got a video about it, watch it. All you got to do is just mix equal amounts of water and flour and our yeast together. We're gonna let it chill for about an hour. Some people call this proofing, but they'll add their yeast to a little bit more water. But like I said, I like to keep it 100 with my tea, so that way my moisture ratios don't get too thrown off. So I always keep track of any amount of water and flour I've added, so that way I know at the very end how much more I need to add in to maintain my ratios. Always got to have some scales, guys. I always have a couple. The little dope scale is really good for small amounts, under 10 grams or, you know, sub-gram amounts. The bigger scale is obviously nice because it can fit bowls, and it's got enough of a weight limit to where you could put a 1 pound bowl on there, tar it out, and still be able to measure your ingredients. I'll put links to both in the description below. But really any old scale will work, but you got to have a scale. This is not a measuring cup type of game. Hey, what's up, guys? You know what? If this video helps one person out, I would be so happy. But YouTube gets happy when you like, comment, and subscribe. So could you please just take a second and do that for me and help me grow this channel? It would mean a lot to me, and I promise I'll provide you with infotainment. For the yeast, it's not really going to be as scientific, like I said, because it's really hard to measure this stuff out. It's so light unless you have one of those dope scales. I just kind of do it by eye, and I use about a half a packet of yeast for every 1,000 grams, or like every kilo of flour. Normally ends up working out nice for me, especially if it's a 2-day or longer fermentation. If you're looking for quicker results, you might want to add just a little bit more flour. Just know you're going to lose some of that flavor and texture that develops from a slow fermentation. Water, you definitely don't want to be using tap water because it has chlorine, and a whole bunch of other stuff in it that's not really good for you or your pizza, right? So that lean and all that other stuff they add in there is going to affect the way that the yeast propagate inside the dough. So start off with good bottled water or filtered water. Me, I'm privileged enough to have Facebook Marketplace, so I found this Primo dispenser for 20 bucks, and then I just drive and get the jugs filled up because the water is really tasty, and it's worked out well for me for baking. So definitely try that if you've had problems with your dough rising. It's always easier to mix together the dry ingredients, so stir in your yeast with your flour, go ahead and add that water, and we're just gonna chill for an hour. We'll come back, pick it up. After about an hour, that yeast and flour mixture, our poolish is gonna be standing up like a pancake. Now we're gonna add the water. Remember, we're gonna take away the 50 milliliters or grams that we already added. Add that to our yeast mixture, get it in the blender, get it spinning around, kind of get that yeast incorporated with the rest of the water. Then we're gonna add our remaining flour. After that sort of kind of gets together with the water, then we'll toss in the salt, and then we're gonna let it mix for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, we're gonna give it a 10-minute rest and then mix it again for 5 minutes. Now, this is a KitchenAid mixer. I mean, results are gonna vary, but for my particular model, I do setting 2, speed 2 on the first 5, setting 1 on the second 5. After that, we'll go ahead and pull it into a big ball, put a damp cloth over it, and let it bulk ferment for about an hour. Once our hour is done, it's gonna be looking super smooth and glossy. I didn't even wait, I just cut it into 3, you know, roughly around the same size. Go ahead and make our balls just like you've seen me do in all the videos. And then I put them in a bowl that loosely is around the size of what they'll be when they doubled. Put a little olive oil in there so it doesn't dry up, and wrap it tight with saran wrap. I'm gonna put it in the fridge, and we'll give it about a day and we'll pull them out. So not a super long ferment on this. We got a little bit of a head start with that pancake poolish we kind of made, and then also that hour bulk fermentation on the countertop. See you guys in a couple days. I'm gonna go whip this cart around. My, where does the time go? I swear back in the day when I first started making pizza, I was so impatient. Now it's like, man, we gotta make that dough. I actually went 3 days on that, and it came out killer. The longer you can wait for this dough, the better. The thing you can do while you're waiting on your dough is get your sauce ready. Basically, all I do is add a little bit of salt, extra virgin olive oil, and some fresh basil. Hit it with an immersion blender. Not really super smooth, but not really chunky. You want something that you can spread. And that's pretty much it. Now this is inside tomato sauce. So these particular tomatoes are packed in something a little bit thicker. If it was just packed in juice or water, I would drain that and just do the tomatoes by themselves. Another thing you're gonna wanna do is get your pizza oven clean. I leave mine outside all the time. That's why I love this Magic Flame, and that's why I love my Bighorn. They're both stainless steel. The Bighorn's been outside for like 4 or 5 years now, and it looks really not that bad. You could probably put some polish on it and bring it right back to life. The stones, I just do with a grill brush. Just knock off those high parts, really anything that's gonna snag your pizza, and then it's good to go. One thing you might have noticed about this Magic Flame is that the stone is round, and it's because it actually rotates. It's a really cool feature of this oven. I think it makes it great for beginners. The top gets very, very even. The bottom doesn't really get cooked as even, so that'd be my one critique, and I think it's because it's kind of like flipping a steak on a grill, and you're trying to get a nice sear, so you flip it from where it is over to a hot part on the grill, and that's kind of what you're doing when you're turning the pizza. So when you rotate that stone, you're rotating a not so preheated portion of the stone into the flame, so you're getting the top of it cooked even, but not on the bottom. But it's not a deal breaker. I really love the way that the firebox on this is set up. It's very high capacity. The feed ramp is very easy to access. It has a built-in thermometer. Yeah, I really think that this rivals the Bighorn. I mean, the Bighorn's still the OG, but this is a very nice unit. Once you get it lit, you want to let it preheat for about 15 minutes. So just get back to your other projects. Need help getting the grill lit? I got a bunch of videos on that, and I actually just made one on how to light this one, or really any pellet grill, with lighter fluid, so check that out, it's up here. All right, now we're finally ready to get our pizzas together. You don't want to get these on the peel too long before you have to release them, okay? So like, get your pizza onto the pizza peel and into the oven in under 3 minutes. Let's try and do 3, because the longer it sits on that peel, the more it's gonna wanna stick to it. So we gotta move really fast. And this video here will also go a little bit more in depth in rolling out the dough if you need practice with that. Another note on toppings, only like 3 ounces cheese, 3 ounces of sauce to start. Do more or less, just see how it comes out. You don't wanna overdo it on these pizzas because they cook so fast. So more toppings is gonna make it have to cook longer or get really, really wet, and you don't want that. Another thing to keep in mind with these backyard pellet ovens is they're gonna cook your pizza in probably 3 minutes, okay? It's not gonna be in 60 seconds like on some kind of TV show, okay? It does get to the right temperature, but it's just not the same because it's tiny, okay? It's running on little tiny pellets. It doesn't have a huge clay structure with a giant flame that's been in it for hours, okay? So just keep your expectations at 2 to 3 minutes. But 3 minutes is not long enough to walk away. So stay close so you can tend to your pizza. Another kind of expectation to set, I know some people are bottom guys, some people are top guys. It's kind of hard to get the perfect bottom and the perfect top on the same pizza in one of these. So let that be your challenge, not your discouragement. And if you need any help making dough beyond what this is, like you don't have a mixer, check out this video right here. It's gonna show you how to basically make the dough front to back, just with hand tools. So, no equipment, all right? Check that video out. Once those pies are ready, I bring them inside and I kind of do a little dual purpose gimmick. I pull my pan trays out of my air fryer since they're slotted, and I use that as my cooling tray. So don't put your pizza right onto a cutting board or a plate because the bottom will steam and you'll lose all that crisp. You wanna keep it on something with a grill. And then I throw them right into the air fryer to reheat them as needed, because you can only make 1 pie at a time and they're only gonna be 11 inches, 12 inches each. So you make about 5 or 6 of them, and then when it's pizza time, you heat up some of that sauce, grab some ranch, and just start throwing slices inside of that air fryer. Well, thanks a lot, guys. I hope that this video helped you out. If you're new, please subscribe and like this video. Leave me some comments, guys. Get involved. Let me know what you want to see. I'm here for you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.
Peace.